In this video, Ricky from Income School gives me his honest opinion on my affiliate marketing website, bestroofbox.com. Ricky is one half of Income School, Jim being the other half, and they are experts when it comes to creating an income using the internet, setting up niche websites, promoting them, creating content, and everything to do with that. They have a fantastic YouTube channel full of great videos all around making money online, affiliate marketing, and all that good stuff. So if you haven't already seen those videos, you need to go and check them out right now. I'll put a link up to their channel. You'll also find all the links in the description to everything that's mentioned within this video. Ricky also has a fantastic training course. It's called Project 24. It contains all of their guides and training and modules and all that kind of stuff so that you can learn how to become an internet marketer yourself, learn how to set up great niche sites, learn how to create content, and all that good stuff, including promoting it with social media, with YouTube, with SEO. There's tons of stuff on there, so you're going to want to go check it out. Again, you'll find a link in the description. It's called Project 24. And a number of you guys I know are following the course, and all I've been hearing is good things. So yeah, definitely worth taking a look at. So anyway, Ricky was kind enough to spend some time looking at my website. Bestroofbox.com, as already said. If you're not up to date with everything that I've been doing with the site, you can find all of the videos in a playlist. You'll find a link to it there and in the description. He had a good look at the site. He gave me his honest opinion, gave me loads of tips and ideas, including maybe rethinking the approach that I'm taking to creating content and the way I'm building the site. Also give some advice on how I could be using YouTube better, as well as a few tips on how I should lay out my articles. So anyway, I think that's enough from me. I'm going to hand you over to Ricky right now. As I said, it's full of great advice, which I'm sure you'll be able to apply to your sites as well. I'll see you at the end of this video. But for now, let's go. Roll the tape.
Hey WP Eagle viewers, my name's Ricky. I am from the Income School YouTube channel. And I want to thank Alex for inviting me to come take a look at his website, bestroofbox.com. We're going to jump right in and take a look at a handful of things. Certainly not everything on the site. I know that Alex has been doing a ton of work on this website to build it up and showing you every step along the way. So there are a few aspects of the site though that I want to talk about because a lot of times our approach to building these kind of websites, just to internet marketing in general, is maybe a little bit different from what you're used to seeing. So it'll be kind of fun to kind of juxtapose our approach to internet marketing, to building niche websites with this website that Alex has been building for you guys here at WP Eagle. So let's go jump onto the screen. The first thing I want to talk about is just the overall approach to the website. Bestroofbox.com, like the name itself, it's definitely an affiliate driven website. This thing is all about recommending products. This is the approach to affiliate marketing, to internet marketing, to niche websites that most people are taking, is that really direct approach to I'm building a website, I'm writing content that's totally directed at helping you find a product and selling you on that product. The approach we take is a little bit more circuitous. And by that I mean we take an indirect approach. So instead of like bestroofbox.com, it might be something like travelwithgear.com. Now, I'm not saying, Alex, that you should change the URL. I'm not saying that there's a problem there. But as we look through the content, as we look through what all the articles are about, what I'm finding is the vast majority of them kind of follow that same vein, which is they're very much product driven. So here's, I'm just going to go through some of the most recent articles. Thule Motion XTL Review and Guide. Totally, this is about helping me decide whether or not to buy this product. And it's a guide, presumably by reading the title, it's maybe a user guide. If I click on the article, let's take a look at it real quick. Is it actually a user guide? Well, kind of. I mean, it's more of a product review, giving me all the kind of the information about it. Not so much how to use it. Yeah, in fact, as I go through here, I'm not seeing any sort of like user guide stuff. And when I just see guide, that's kind of what I expect. And so if I come here looking for that, I'm not going to be real happy with what I find. I'm probably going to bounce and go click on the user manual that Thule has provided. Now, if I'm here for a product review and I'm looking for, somebody's more in-depth review of this product, then you've given me that. But here's kind of the problem. This is a principle that we talk about in our Project 24 course, and that is when you write content that is geared toward a really specific group of people, your search volume is just by definition going to be very low. So let me take a step back here and maybe give you a different idea of how we would have approached this kind of topic. Like, let's say that we'd like to link to the Thule Motion XTL. We want to get people to go buy that product. So instead of focusing on writing an article that's totally geared towards somebody that already knows that's the product they're looking for, what we might do is take a step further back and say, well, somebody that's going to buy this product is somebody who has a car and somebody that likes to ride bikes, and they like to travel with their bikes to places. So that is a pretty broad group of people. And now a lot of those people in that group don't necessarily know that they need this product, or may not even need this product. But what if instead we could attract those people that don't know they need it, but maybe they do? And then we could sort of funnel them toward a product. We could help them, lead them toward a decision to go buy the product. So for example, I could write an article. It'd take me a few minutes to really come up with a good topic, but maybe it was just an article that's geared more toward like 50 awesome road bike routes to travel in the state of Idaho. Maybe that's what it is. And so all these people who like to travel to different places and take their bike with them, a certain number of those people are going to be interested in that, traveling to Idaho. I might even start, in fact, I definitely would start with greater tourist destinations. Idaho came to my head first because that's where I live. But what if instead it was like, people that like to ride through, Blue Ridge Parkway in Virginia, North Carolina, West Virginia. Like, that's a beautiful place to ride. Lots of people ride motorcycles and bikes through there. That would be an awesome place, or an awesome article to write, is like all the cool routes along the Blue Ridge Parkway. Now, all of those people that are going to be interested in that are people who fit all the demographics of who would potentially buy this product. So now we maybe don't get a lot more people coming to the site with the direct intent of buying that product, but overall there's a much larger number of people coming to the site. I hope that made a lot of sense for you. So what happens when we take that approach, that more indirect approach, is we get significantly more traffic to the website. Plus, we're able to rank for things, lots of different things that nobody else is writing about. We find that topics that are very, very much product focused tend to be more competitive. And that's because all of the other affiliate marketing people out there are writing about the same kind of thing. If I want a review for the iPhone 10, I want to write that, I'm sorry, I'm going to be competing with some really, really big websites. And so if somebody were to Google Thule Motion XTL guide, let's do that real quick. Thule Motion XTL. Okay, so first of all, here's one thing that I do. These are Google suggestions. Now, guide doesn't come up for any of those, but if I type the letter G, it also doesn't come up. What about R? Review. Okay, so what that tells me, if Google's suggesting it, is that there are people searching it. We don't use the tools that give you a search volume number because, I'm sorry, they're all just totally and completely dead wrong, especially when you're talking about relatively low search volume topics. They're just wrong. So if it shows up in a Google Auto Suggest, it's because Google thinks that's something you would likely type. So here we go, review. If I search that, I've got Thule has their own, obviously they're going to come up near the top because Google sees them as the most authoritative, the most authoritative company or the most authoritative website on that particular product. I'm also going to get REI, I'm going to get Amazon, I'm going to get all of these big websites that are retail websites. They all also have product reviews. And Google sees that, even though it's just a whole bunch of reviews written by tons of people, Google often sees those reviews as more authoritative than what a single blogger has to say. So it's not uncommon that you find yourself competing with Amazon with, in this case, REI, but if it was a tech thing, like a phone thing, you'd be competing with big tech companies. And so that's going to be tough to compete for. I mean, to show up on the first page may be tough, and definitely to get to number one, it's pretty well out of the question. If I search guide, Google assumes the same thing I assume, which is probably that they're looking for a user guide. How do I use this product? So what do I get? Again, I get the Thule website because they have a product manual. And then I get the Thule website's PDF on, the measuring guide and stuff. And then I get, REI, and again, I get a bunch of big websites. So I noticed this on several articles on this website, actually, where you say guide, and what you mean is it's a buyer's guide. Now, you've put it into a buyer's guide category, so that helps clarify it if I'm on your website. But if I'm finding it on Google, if it shows up in the search results and I find it on Google and the headline says guide, I'm probably going to assume that it's not just a buyer's guide unless it actually says buyer's guide, okay? So anyway, I know that I've spent several minutes here talking about how this isn't the approach that we would generally take to a website. That doesn't mean that this is a failed site, not by any means. A lot of people have been succeeding with this for years and years and years. But what I would do if I were you is I would start writing more content, or hiring out content that is targeted more toward the broader group of people. So in any industry, there's content, there's topics that there's just a narrow number of people that are going to ever search that topic. If it was, let's say that I have a website on metalworking and I write a bunch of content that's focused toward like some really, really specific aspect of like plasma cutting. Like there's a small group of people that have the tools and expertise to even be interested in that. And a lot of those people aren't necessarily going to go to Google for that information. On the other end of the spectrum, there's a very large group of people that are just going to be searching general information about welding. These are often kind of more toward the beginners. So if I'm doing, bestroofbox.com and I have maybe a group of content, I know that this isn't, the main focus of the website, but you do have a group of content that's around bicycling and, bicycle carriers on cars. So what if instead you wrote a fair amount of content, 5 or 10 articles that were geared toward people who are getting into the sport of bicycling, mountain biking. Mountain biking is a big one because you pretty much always travel somewhere with your mountain bike if you're getting into mountain biking. Obviously, it's not a mountain biking website. It's a website about traveling with your stuff. And so the articles should be, again, geared a little bit more toward the travel aspect of mountain biking or of road cycling. Maybe racing, some of the best races in different places to participate in for beginners. That beginner pool is just going to be a huge pool, huge group of people that are going to be searching that kind of content. If you had some articles in that field, it's going to be a lot easier for you to rank like number one on Google, not on the first page, but like number one, and even win snippets. And then on top of that, it's going to be a lot more attractive for people to click on an article that's just a lot more informative rather than sales pitchy, right? You're trying to sell me a product in all these articles rather than just providing me helpful information with the occasional where it fits, where it makes sense. You're going to say, and if you're traveling to this place and you're getting into mountain biking, I've done a bunch of research and, this is by far my favorite bicycle carrier for the back of a vehicle. And if you're looking for a bike rack for on top of your car, this is by far the best one out there. Thule makes it. Here's a link to Amazon. And I'm going to make those contextual links, not big buttons. Okay. Now that's not to say that the straight up product review post doesn't work, but we do that sparingly. We do that occasionally. We don't build a whole website out of that. The same goes for roof boxes, hard boxes, soft boxes. You've got some good content about how to pick what the right type of box. And a lot of those articles are going to be good. But what is the best rooftop cargo carrier? That's like the biggest keyword, the biggest topic in this entire industry, right? Anybody that's got a website on, roof boxes, that's going to be the main article they want to rank. So how do we make ours the very best? Let's go take a look at that article because I haven't really dove into that one yet. So you've got some good information here, how to find the perfect carrier, considering hardtop, shortcomings of hardtop. So you're walking people through this decision, right? That's really good. This is a good long form article, and you're helping people go through, make the decision hard versus soft, and then you're giving them a link to, okay, you're interested in hardtop? Great, here's a link to that. You're interested in soft top? Great, here's a link to that. So I think that's a pretty good approach for that. The next question is, how are we going to be able to rank for that? So best, rooftop cargo carrier. Let's see what comes up here. A bunch of blogs. If you can make a better resource than them, there's no reason you won't be able to outrank them. So honestly, you've probably picked a niche that that you're going to be able to compete in, even for the big keywords. Now, I am seeing a lot of articles, which could make it so that your content kind of gets lost a little bit in the crowd. And that's where something else you're doing, I think, is going to come in really handy. All right, so let's move on to that next piece. You'll notice too, for those of you guys watching, that when I want to go search in Google, I want to see, like, I want to check Google Auto Suggest, or I want to see where things rank, I always open up Safari. I have never logged into Google on Safari. And because of that, and I just use it for random searches and stuff. And so because of that, I'm getting a pretty clear indicator of where, just for the average user, things are going to rank. Auto Suggest is not going to be influenced by things that I'm looking at personally, or it's not going to be influenced by the sites that Google knows that I own, because I've never logged in. Okay, so that's why I'm using Safari for that. All right, so the thing that I want to talk about, though, that I think it could really boost you along is this YouTube channel. YouTube is something that we are talking about a lot these days, especially like internally at Income School, because it's just a huge opportunity. There are things that Google is doing that are making it harder and harder for some bloggers, especially when you're outsourcing content, to be able to compete going forward. And that is the emphasis they're putting on EAT. That's expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. If you on this, because I believe you said you're outsourcing some of this content, or maybe all of it. If this content were all being posted under a different person's name because it's a different writer, if you didn't have an about page, if there was no way for Google to really determine that you are at least something of an authority on this subject, it makes it very, very difficult for Google to place your content above somebody else who may be a little bit more authoritative. REI is not necessarily super authoritative on cargo stuff or even on bike racks, but they are authoritative on sporting goods. And so therefore, to knock them off, you really have to show yourself as an authority. And by having an about page that explains, here's my experience with this stuff, and by putting all of the content under that one name, it really does help you to build up that authoritativeness. Now, YouTube can also help you establish that authority. It's just kind of peer-based authority, right? It's people are showing a certain level of trust in you, and so Google's willing to award you that level of trust. YouTube can help you establish that, but on top of that, to have your content shown on YouTube, you don't have to be the world authority. What you need is to have content that is helpful and informative and interesting. And so there's a couple of things that I would recommend with the YouTube channel. But first, you're doing the most important one, which is to have a YouTube channel, okay? The other stuff, though, that I'm going to say are going to really help get these videos seen more is kind of spicing up the titles and the thumbnails a little bit, okay? So here's why that's important. Something like 80% of clicks on videos on YouTube, videos watched, do not come as a result of the search. They come because somebody was watching a video and your video showed up in the recommended stuff. So if I click on one of your videos, you've got all of this stuff here in the up next, right? And then I scroll down, and in a second, well, right now nothing's being shown here, but oftentimes it'll show a bunch of videos down here that are related to this particular video. And so that is where people are clicking. They're clicking from one video to the next. And this is often based on other things that have been watched by this user. And some of it's going to be based on what's related to this video. So as users are watching other stuff and YouTube says, hey, I think that user might be interested in this particular video from the Best Roof Box channel, your thumbnail is going to show up. But in order for people to click on that thumbnail, they have to be enticed. They have to feel like there's a good reason for them to do that. So here's what I recommend. Use the thumbnail not just as a place to put a cool picture, but as a place to give a second headline. And in this case, I would make a headline for the thumbnail that's a little bit like extra awesome, a little bit extra interesting, because that's the thing that's going to catch people's eye. So instead of like best roof cargo boxes for golfers, I might try to find something that's like particularly interesting about that video, some little piece of information that's just going to that's the thing that's just most interesting from that entire video. And I'm going to build that thumbnail title around that. And then the title here for the actual video, that can be something that's just a little bit more straight up, here's what this video is about. And in this case, Best Roof Cargo Box for Golf Clubs, a complete guide. That's not bad. That's not a bad name for a video, okay? As you do that, you're going to get a lot more organic clicks to your videos on YouTube. And by having this content on YouTube and directing people from there to the website, as well as directing people from one video to other videos on your channel, you're going to be able to build up that authoritativeness and a lot more traffic much more quickly. Okay, last I wanted to just point out one or two small things on the website. First of all, this right here. You've put your welcome video for your YouTube channel right here. But I only knew that because I watched one of your YouTube videos where you showed me that you did that. When I look at this, what I see is an image. And I see that if I scroll over it, that it's a link, but I have no idea what it's a link to. I don't know where it's going to take me, so I'm probably not going to click on it. You need something on the thumbnail here that indicates to me that it's a video. Even if you just put that little play button, right? The little triangle that tells me play, maybe with a circle around it, that indicates to me, you see that on YouTube videos and stuff when you hit pause, right? Or did that go away? Anyway, I would put that triangle there with the circle around it or something that indicates to the user here that this is a video, that this is a YouTube video. Here's the other thing. I want to push YouTube as much as possible, and here's why. When you have a website that's just a bunch of blog posts, the vast majority of your traffic is extremely transactional. They come to the site, they get the information that they wanted in that single article, and most of the time they don't ever read another article. We see this with high bounce rates on these kind of websites. It's totally normal to have a bounce rate in the 80s. You'll see the average number of pages viewed is like 1.2 on a lot of websites. And that's just because people come, they get the information, and they don't have a reason to click through. So a strong interlinking strategy is really helpful to help increase that. But even then, it's hard to build a lot of rapport with a user that even if they click 2 or 3 articles, they're probably never going to come back. They're probably not going to remember what your website was about, or rather what your website was called, I should say. So they're going to come, they're going to say, oh yeah, that was good information. They're going to leave, and they're not ever going to remember bestroofbox.com, even though you got a nice logo and it looks nice. With a YouTube channel, on the other hand, you build a lot more rapport a lot more quickly. And so that's where I would really want to push the YouTube channel. And for that reason, your only connection to the YouTube channel that I see on this entire website is right here on the homepage, which is right there. And I click that and it's going to play right here unless I actually click a button to go watch it on YouTube. And I'm never going to find it from the website. I would probably put in the menu, I know we don't want menus to get too wide, but where you've put the logo on the top, you could probably afford to put one more thing in here that just says YouTube. And I would probably put that right up in the menu. Maybe Beginner's Guides, Buyer's Guides, YouTube. And that way people are going to be able to know that, oh, there's a YouTube channel. Maybe I can go watch a video on how to do this. Maybe in some of these where you say guide, right? Tool Motion XTL review and guide. Maybe there I could put in a video that shows footage of, and maybe it's footage straight from the manufacturer, whatever. But I could put in a YouTube video that I have posted on my channel that is a guide for how to use this, how to attach it to your roof, and how to most effectively use it so that it doesn't move around or whatever. Having that video content kind of intermixed with your written content on your website, I think is really gonna also help. But that's it as far as big changes I would make on the site. Again, I would make it just really obvious that this is a video, otherwise people just aren't gonna click it. I would use video more in your articles. I think the articles are written well. We often will hide the Pinterest image. We'll tag it, it's there, it exists, but it disappears. And so that way, if somebody does pin your article, it shows up as available for them to pin. Now this looks nice, and I think it looks fine right here, so I don't have a problem with moving it. A lot of times though, people, to have a larger, prettier image, now this looks beautiful, but it'll end up being really big on the page. And because of that, it just takes up way too much space. And so either put it at the bottom or hide it. But the way you're doing it, I think looks great. Yeah, I think the way that you've laid out your articles looks really good. In some cases, the paragraphs are a little bit long. Really long blocks of text really aren't fun to read, especially on mobile. But the articles are good. Again, I would just say, let's focus on getting a lot more traffic to the website and do that by creating content that's going to attract that wider base of users. Thanks again, Alex, for having me on your channel. It's always a pleasure to work with other internet marketers, other affiliate marketers, and talk about the things that we're doing. We're all trying and testing out different things and finding success through all sorts of different avenues. I still believe, Jim and I at Income School are heavily invested in blogs going forward in the future. Blogs, YouTube, this is still just a fantastic industry to be getting into. And I'm just super excited about what the rest of 2019 and 2020 and just all the years ahead brings for all of us in internet marketing.
So that brings us to the end of this video. Ricky has certainly given me plenty to think about with regards to my affiliate marketing website, and I'm going to be taking on board everything that he said and applying it as I move forward, continue to work on the site, and I will of course be keeping you guys up to date with regular videos. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on Ricky's suggestions. Please leave me a comment below. I do read all the comments that I get, and I'll try to reply to as many as I possibly can. If you're not already subscribed, I suggest you do so now. You can do that by clicking on the eagle. Click the bell to be notified of new videos. Do take a look at my vlog channel. You can find it by clicking on my face up there. There's a couple of other videos that have appeared, have been chosen especially for you, so I hope you enjoy them. Until next time, bye for now.